All right, you're asking for it, so here it is. Listen to this.
I want you fucking laughing at we partners pod, kid. You understand? We in here drinking, singing, all that shit, dog. Sweating, getting wet, all that.
All right, welcome to the 205th episode of the Drinking Partners podcast. Yes, this is our Jason Kidd episode. This is the episode where we facilitate, because that's what we do. We facilitate a good time, good beer, just good vibrations, man. That's what the Drinking Partners do. Anytime you're around us, we facilitate a good time. We don't need to be the star of the team. You know what I mean? We get you them buckets. That's what we do, man. And we get your buckets because at the end of the day, we all get the trophy. You feel me? Or it could be the Kevin Garnett with the Celtics episode, because we started out just as stand-up comedians, but we really hit our stride when we moved to the Celtics, moved the podcast, and moved to craft beer. We really became a thing. And I told y'all, man, Saturday, I was really like, yo, let me think about what these analogies gonna be.
You on point this
I'm
weekend.
on Piggity, all right?
Oh, boy.
I'm on Piggity, all right? So I'm half of your host and tandem, Ed Bailey. I'm joined as always with my co-host, Dave Bracey. Say what up to the people.
What's good with you people? We are the Drinking Partners, and if you're looking for us, you can find us on epiccastnetwork.com/partnerspod. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play, and Spotify under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at PartnersPod. 205 episodes.
205. We 100 away from the Miami episode. Can't wait to do the 305.
Man, we've been asking y'all, and we will continue to ask you, man. Please hop on iTunes, hop on Facebook, man. Rate and review. That's how we know we're doing well. That's how we let others know that we're doing well. And that's how we continue to do well, man. So please hop on iTunes, hop on Facebook, rate and review.
Hop on anything, man. You love us. You see us out in public. We be in the grocery store. We be at the show. We be everywhere.
We've been around it.
Are you so-and-so? You know, y'all get us confused. You ask Dave if he's Ed. Y'all ask Ed if he's Dave. It's cool. You just know we exist.
You one of the Drinking Partners.
One of those guys. You love us. You see us. You love us. Now, look, at the click of a button, though, tell the internet, tell the world, tell everybody, man. Let everybody know the good times, the great times, the good listen that we are. You know what I mean? So more people listen so that you're a part of a cult, all right? Yeah. And as always...
Culture.
Look,
cult. We ain't no Kool-Aid over here.
Cults be getting
Kool-Aid
money.
No Drinking Partners don't drink Kool-Aid.
Not like the R. Kelly cult.
Yeah. Not like any of the cults.
Well, a little bit like a cult, though. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not...
I'm going to need a pass.
You're going to need a Bailey cult. Bailey's going to start his old cult somewhere.
On some of the shit I say, all right? I need you to be so into me that you be like, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt.
I ain't giving you the benefit in 205 episodes. There's going to be another 205 before you even get a chance of that.
Not like the Colt and Martin when they was wearing a robe and had like the fucked up in the Naharam job. I guess all the cults are like that.
It's all
of them. All right, so we building a culture.
Jesus.
So you look, you fucks with. shout out to the character. Listen, y'all gonna have me stricken down. Is it stricken down?
Hey, you smite. You're gonna be smitten.
Ooh, when the last time I've been smitten? Smite. That's a different level. Like Smythe, you gotta get a big ass fucking sword across the chest at the right angle. You gotta be Smythe. They gotta hit the one artery and your aorta.
The Harry Carey.
But listen, you love us, you see us in public, you love us at the click of a button, tell the internet, tell the world. And as always, 204 times we said it, this is the 205th. In lieu of rates and reviews, we do accept shots of Hennessy, all right? Yep. Shout out to Car Guy DJ and the Conways for starting a trend. Shout out to everybody we've seen, met over the years, who kept that trend going, who always show love. Shout out to everybody who came out to the night of epic comedy last night at Compton Theater.
Sold out.
You guys fucking rocked. You know what I'm saying? Y'all had to sit on the stage. Y'all kept it gully. Shout out to the two dudes who come every month. You know what I'm saying? They come every month and sit right on the stage. Like it's good. We're building something there, man. So if you haven't been, bring your motherfucking ass out.
It's a culture, man, out there. I mean, like we got the regular folks that come in, they're looking forward to it and whatnot. And we always got different craft beer sponsors. This month coming up, we will have Mindful. So the thing that we're doing in 2019 is we got these like kind of like little residency type things. You know what I mean? So for the next 3 months at Arcade and Comtra, you're going to see Mindful. After that, you're going to see Full Pint. And then after that, you're going to see North Countries. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's going to be, the lineup coming up. I mean, always BYOB, always free craft beer.
And ampersand, as well as, in addition to.
Yeah, I mean, like, and it's dope because, like, we're always set up in the lobby and whatnot. You can actually have a conversation with the brewery. I mean,
keep
you
it
gotta
down. Don't outspeak the comedian on
Well,
stage.
yeah, I'll say, yeah. I mean, but like coming in, I mean, during the intermissions and whatnot, you can actually have a conversation with the brewer. You ain't rushed to do anything, this and the other, like, and like I said, we give you a little bit of that variety. So check out Mindful on what is that, April
420. You keep forgetting 420 is a holiday for most folks.
Yeah.
Not for you this year.
Nah, not this year.
I wish I had a violin.
Not this year. Man, it ain't been 420 for me since fucking, I mean, people
since
like
you've been an
98,
adult and you could smoke
99?
regularly.
Yeah, like
420. I never really 420'd. I'm gonna be honest. I never 420'd.
I did when I was in college, like, because it was a thing, and then once like I left that environment, it just was another day that I smoked. It was
I never ever really indulged in the over smoke.
Again, when I was in
You
college,
could lose a whole day to that shit.
I overindulged
I'm a
in
napper.
all of the things when I was in college.
I'm a napper,
you know what I mean?
dog. Like, if I oversmoked, I just went to sleep.
But that's all you can do in oversmoke. Yeah, I mean, that's all an oversmoke leads to is a nap. Yeah, I mean, like maybe a very long head session and some naps. Yeah, I mean, so that's really the only danger. There's no OD.
I don't know if I paused that or what just happened there when that very long head session, but you slid that in.
Oh no, I mean, but
very indiscreetly.
But Cerrone Russell will be headlining out of the DMV coming up and whatnot.
It's legal out here, and he came to where it's not.
Yeah.
Just to give y'all laughs.
Yeah,
salute to that man.
Yeah, if you see him, offer him something. I mean, he's looking forward to that. I mean, arcadecomedytheater.com for that.
Yeah.
I mean, 420. And then April 27th, Compton Theater, Mindful again. I mean, if you've been paying attention, BYOB. And who we got? Norlex.
We got Norlex, man. We got my bro, man, my fraternity brother, Ice, you know what I'm saying? Bloody Omicron in the building. You know, Norlex is my guy, man. Norlex is on his way. If you've been in Pittsburgh, you've seen him. And, he moved to New York. He's taken over the NY comedy scene. So, it's a pleasure to have him back here.
Yeah.
On April 27th.
Couple of episodes he's been on. I mean, he was in the early episodes when we was in that little room over there in the duck, like
him and Off the Record with Alyssa.
Yeah,
I think
then they came in after
him.
Did she get
40 under 40 or is she incline?
Yeah,
I think she might have got the incline. Alyssa lied.
One of them you should notice motherfucker type award.
Jay, you know what I'm saying? He got the philanthropy thing going and all of that, the ministry. So yeah, he's been running with good people, but Norlex in his own right is a talent to be reckoned with, man. And we got him out April 27th. Listen, I don't know how many times he's gonna be back out here because Norlex gonna be doing theater soon.
Yeah.
So I mean,
true.
You better get that theater talent for that non-theater price out of Compton, I mean,
get
with the BYOB Ampersand craft beer sample.
Get it while it's cheap. I mean, because I remember, and I posted. I said I saw we did this show. I want to say about 5 years ago, and it was like me, you, Norlex, Tim Ross, Razor Watney, T. Rowe, J. Russ, and I was like, look, man. This is the last time you gonna be able to see these motherfuckers. I think we were only charging like maybe $10 for a ticket for that shit.
Yeah, $10 charge. That was the budget was only $300.
It was it was a $10 ticket for that shit, and that same show every last like I don't know if you could see anybody for $10 now. I mean that was on that flyer. I mean, and Norlex is in that. I mean, get him while you can get him now, man. Like
getting it.
And
then while the getting is good.
And then moving forward, we got Fresh Fest. Fresh Fest coming through August 10th at Nova Place, headlined by Nappy Roots. They'll be collabing with Dancing Gnome on a collaboration beer. 40 collaborations, 40 local brewers paired with black artists, entrepreneurs, politicians to bring one-off collaborations for you. I mean, for that festival, we got 30 black brewers coming in from around the country. I mean, representation matters, showing the folks what we do out here. And man, we got six bands, artists coming in performing. We got 4 DJs, VIP, early sessions. We got live painting, arts going on around there. It's a festival. And there's beer there. You know what I mean? Like, you're not like, you're going to drink, you're going to enjoy it. You're going to go there and having the conversations and this and the other, but you're also going to enjoy yourself outside of that. I mean, so appreciative of all the people that are involved with that, all of the folks that make that happen. It's a community event, and looking forward to seeing everybody there. And,
man, it's a carnival of community, carnival of collaboration. It's just a really good event, man. The vibes. If you were at Fresh Fest 2018, you understand the vibes. You know what I'm saying? It's not just about the beer. The beer is just an onboarding thing to get you in. It's just really about the people who are there, the community, everybody working together, collaborating, just having a good time, man. Just taking the time to just enjoy themselves in the city, man. And again, we talked about it last podcast, but we're gonna say it again. We're very fortunate to be a part of, or facilitating events that move the culture forward. You know what I'm saying? And I really enjoyed it. That's the best thing of this podcast, being able to do so. Fresh Fest.
Number two. I guess it's the first time we can announce it or whatever. But the USA Today poll, we got number 2 out this bitch for the best festival.
Yeah, they cheated.
Of the year.
People had their cousins. We the best fucking festival, man.
But I mean,
and we was number 1 for like mad long, and all of a sudden they started throwing number 2 out there. It's like, who letting motherfuckers vote twice?
Yeah, but it's still an honor to even be mentioned, like even be in the conversation.
One year in to even be on the docket.
Yeah, there was Boogaloo, Great American Beer Festival, like the South, there was some good festivals in there. Yeah, there was some good long-standing festivals in there going in there. So like it was dope to even be in the conversation. So shout out to all the folks that support on that, and looking forward to seeing y'all out there, man. And not to rush into anything or whatever, but we got Cocopreneurs putting on
launch party April 19th. All right, so the directory's up. It's getting a lot of traction. You know what I mean? The Cocopreneur directory's up, but we're gonna have a launch party. We're gonna celebrate the launch of the directory, and we're going to celebrate Wifey's birthday. It's the same day, April 19th, you know what I'm saying? We got a good lineup there, too, because we got, PA State Rep Summer Lee is coming through. She was on an episode of Drinking Partners, but she's been making waves. Just introduced her legislation, too.
Yeah.
So shout out to Summer Lee, man, doing big things. We got Daniel Lavelle, you know what I'm saying, Hill District Councilman, and we have Brandon Brooks in the building. They're all going to be speaking. Cocopreneur, we're going to be celebrating that. I'll be hosting, you know what I mean? Like, I'll be as sober as possible on a celebratory evening, but I'll still be talking my shit. April 19th, go to, you know what I'm saying, sylapgh.org. That's SYLAPGH.org. Support your local artists.org/events. You know what I mean? Get your tickets. Come through. It's going to be a good time in Slayton, the Strip District, man. Again, affecting the culture, changing the culture, man. Just shaping that shit to what we need to see, what we need to do, what we need to happen, all right? So that's good. And that leads us directly into our episode, because this is the episode 2 of 2, which one of one sounded like 2 of 2, but it's like 1 of 2 sound like 2 of 2, but that's cool. But it's just all in the vein of shaping, creating, you know what I'm saying? Like taking ownership of what you'd like to see. And these gentlemen here, you know what I'm saying, with their brewery, they've been doing such. I mean, they like to see shit released. They like to see shit out on the market. They like to see a certain feel, vibe. They got a new spot coming through.
Part of the freshman cask of Fresh Fest, you know what I mean, as we like to call it, you know what I mean? I don't know.
Oh, wait, I got to do my subliminal.
Yeah.
No, we got Jamie and Paul from Cinderlands in the building. Say what up to the people.
What up, people?
Hey, people.
Okay.
Yeah, very little.
We'll take it.
Yeah, very, very there. And they did it. That's exactly what you ask for it, they deliver.
They ask and that you ask, and ask and ye shall. You know what I'm saying?
So the thing that we never ask anybody, that I've always been like, yeah, we should ask that more often, and then we never ask it, is first and foremost, why the fuck are you all called Cinderlands? Why, you know what I mean? Tell us about that. Never asked it. I never, you know what I mean?
It's pretty simple. It's actually just about being a nod to the city of Pittsburgh, about history of the steel, and how when the blast furnaces were going back in the 70s, heyday of the steel industry here, it would be ash and soot and cinders getting blasted out all over the city. So Cinderlands. And
okay, so I don't even know what cinder is.
Like, well, it's the shit. It's the sparkly, fiery. After you fire,
is that the shit that had the lake set on fire in Cleveland?
You probably what Cleveland
that fell into the lake.
Yeah, Cleveland might be the real Cinderlands. Y'all whole fucking lake was on fire.
Yeah,
I mean, you had rivers and shit.
That's what I'm saying.
I mean?
Like we don't get the industry. Like I don't actually know if people really respect what we were historically.
You think people respect Cleveland?
Okay, well we're not going to.
I'm just trying to figure out what part of respect that you're like.
Well, the
like
fact that we
about,
just signed ODB,
that
we're going to win the division. But that's neither here nor there. I was actually just trying to pay homage to the fact that Pittsburgh has such a rich history that they introduced words to me today like cinder. Now I'm going to go home and Google it. I'm going to become a cinder expert. Because I never knew that's where Cinderlands came from, but okay,
that's really dumb. I mean, so like, how did you guys like hook up, and how did you guys get into this endeavor that is Cinderlands? Also, can we drink more of this lager that you've been pouring us and tell us about that?
We both finished our lager.
Absolutely,
no problem. So yeah, we I was brewing at a place called Solemn Oath Brewery in Naperville, Illinois. Solemn Oath, yeah. They're awesome brewery. They're out in the suburbs. They were like in that early wave of breweries that opened up in industrial parks, and we're kind of bringing people out of the downtowns into these weird tucked away areas like throughout cities and suburbs. They opened back in 2012, and at the time I was a high school history teacher. And I was just like had this homebrewing hobby that was like taking over all my time. And I just loved it. I wanted to learn more about it. So I was reading, listening to podcasts. There weren't podcasts in 2012. That's a straight up lie. I was reading, listening. Brewmasters on TV back then.
Well, I just want to say that we started in 2012.
You did start in 2012?
The second half of 2012. So
all right.
Yeah, there might not have been podcasts the first half.
I don't feel like and then we started in 2012. That would put us at 7 years.
No, you're 100% right. No, we got a comedy in 2012. Yeah, you're 100%. God damn. Clearly, we were drinking throughout all these. So,
that's the last time I'll ever have a sober moment.
But yeah, I was a high school teacher, and I really wanted to figure out how to see if I could make this beer thing a career. Because I was young, unattached, not making a lot of money or anything. So I figured if I'm going to do this, like it's now. So I just took that chance to kind of explore my passion and see where it took me. So I started writing a blog. Nobody was writing anything about the Chicago beer scene at the time, and I figured, well, I'm like just by simple fact of doing this, I'm going to talk to people. I'm going to meet people. I'm going to get to know like everybody around town, see what's going on, and eventually maybe they'll turn into something. So I like taught homebrew classes. I was doing this blog. I interviewed a bunch of people. It's crazy how easy it is to get people to sit down and talk with you because they got a story to tell. Everybody wants to let the people know what's going on, and if you can
205 episodes.
That's right.
This is definitely a testament to motherfuckers coming to sit down and talk.
Yep.
We ain't giving you no money. Everybody sat here is volunteered to talk to us.
So I ended up interviewing these guys at Solemn Oath, and it went really well. And they invited me out afterwards, and we got some beers at this place called Bavarian Lodge. That's like it's like in its like second iteration. The family owned it, and then it got flipped over to the next generation. They were like, what are we going to do with like a dying like German style like traditional restaurant in the Chicago suburbs? And they said, well, let's make this like one of the best beer bars and restaurants in the whole world. And that's what they did. So they turned around. We went to this place, had some beers, and they said, hey, you're a high school teacher. It's summer. Why don't you come intern for us? So I got in there and got to do all the super glamorous stuff that like a entry-level assistant brewer does, like, clean kegs, mill grains, scrub floors, clean tanks, organize the cooler, et cetera, et cetera. But I mean, brewing's a lot like an apprenticeship. You learn from the head brewer that you start with in a huge way. And having not gone to brewing school, and my head brewer hadn't gone to brewing school either, and none of the guys who work at Cinderlands now ever touched a lick of like a textbook on beer in a formal education setting. Like it's an apprenticeship. I know Buzzy did a stint as a carpenter. Like it's the same kind of deal. You go in, you learn with people on the job, you learn how they do it, you learn what they care about, you understand why they care about it, and then you translate that into your own work and you embody it. And then eventually it's muscle memory. And you're flying around the brewery not even thinking, you're thinking about, you're daydreaming about being up in the mountains or whatever, and you're turning valves and Vorlaufen and sending wort here, pitching yeast there, and it's just it. And it happened real fast. I was a high school teacher one day, and like a year later, my head brewer is like off to get married, and he's gonna be gone for 2 weeks in Jamaica, and I'm in charge of the show. So it's just, it was a crazy, like, fast transformation.
I mean, but like, like that's the thing that I don't think a lot of people. I mean, the conversation is starting around here. I mean, in America, and people are starting to like kind of be more aware of it. But like that apprenticeship, the apprenticeships, the motherfucking the shit, the apprenticeship, the apprenticeship.
Why are you struggling so much? You said it right the first time.
Okay.
The apprenticeship.
The apprenticeship. All right. But that shit, you know what I mean? Like that's a like everybody's going with the 4-year degrees and like all this debt, and you come out and like it's a saturated, whatever you get a degree in, you probably graduated with 1,000 motherfuckers that have it, and another 1,000 motherfuckers in the state, and another 1,000 motherfuckers elsewhere. It's a saturated market. You come with all this debt or whatever, where like you can like go and use an actual like you can learn a skill, like a trade. You know what I mean?
There's
like
a refocus on trade.
Yeah, like I mean, because it was for so many years, like there was the college route, and like trade was almost like a dirty word. It was like, oh, like you going out and you learn how to weld, motherfucker. Like I'm gonna go get my bachelor's degree in English or like liberal arts.
Degree,
yeah. I mean, I'm gonna get my degree, and like, oh, you over here, like, but like I mean, 2 years, like one trade school. You know what I mean? But like two, like I said, an apprenticeship where you can just like, I mean, actually go on the job, and like, I mean, that is almost like a lost art that I feel like, I mean, there needs to be more of a focus on, because this is the future. I mean, like you can learn a bachelor's degree. I mean, you can have that, like, whatever. And like, I feel like with that, you're almost dependent upon an employer. Whereas with a skill, with a trade, you could be your own like business.
Well,
you could be
on need. If you find need, then if you find opportunity, then
there's always a need for that. I mean, there's always a need for that skill or whatever. Right. I mean, so like you could pursue all the other shit. You can go be a lawyer or a doctor or whatever. But like, I feel like, I mean, like I want to tell my daughter, like, get a skill first, and then go. I mean, figure out. I mean, the whole whatever. Like where you as a teacher, you started out with a degree, like, I mean, the 4-year or whatever, and then eventually got into a skill. I mean, like, whatever. Like, I feel like the future should be opposite. It should be like, go get your skill first, and then
especially while they offer it free in high school.
Hell yeah,
take advantage of that free trade, whatever, in high school, and then
the Votex and all that.
Then you can avoid, because the thing about trade school, while it's a little less expensive on the overall, and it may be a little shorter. You're only taking private loans for that. There are no federal loans to get a trade, certification. So get that shit for free in high school and whatnot. But yeah, it's good that you jumped into that passion. I mean, I'm sure teaching in high school, I feel like in that realm, you have to really be passionate about it to stay with it.
Oh, for sure. Because you put up with a lot of stress in those early years as a teacher before you get tenure. It's like you go into this pressure cooker of, are we going to keep this person around for the next 21 years?
In 10 years,
right?
The whole concept of tenure, I'm like, what? Like, motherfucker, we teaching, like, why? Yep, but I don't want to get into that. But how did you two hook up? Like, so you're brewing.
So yeah, I was brewing at Solemn Oath, and I got a call from Jamie, who was putting together what would eventually become Cinderlands. And at first, he just wanted to kind of pick my brain about what I knew.
He was trying to steal your information.
I made
he was trying to steal the information.
A little bit.
He was trying to steal the info.
I was making a lot of calls around to people that I knew through one way or another to just try and, because I didn't know a lot about the business of making beer. I knew a lot about beer at that point, or at least enough to know that here's a market that I really enjoy. I enjoy the culture a lot. I enjoy the people that I meet. I enjoy the beer itself, and you know what? These people are making money. So I looked at that and I said, speaking of trades, like I was building websites and had a good job doing that. But I thought, let's put a business plan together. I talked to my wife about it, who does all of our social media and stuff and works for the company now. And just started putting this together. And I had a guy who was going to brew for us originally, and that ended up not working out. So I was about 6 months from opening, and I didn't have a brewer. And I called Paul, having speak to him previously, and said, "Hey, our guy dropped out. You ever think about brewing in Pittsburgh?" And he was like, "No."
Never crossed my mind.
Now,
bro.
are you originally from the Chicago area?
Yeah, I grew up outside of Chicago. Lived there my whole life. I did like college and grad school, a little bit of work.
Okay, so you
elsewhere.
Convince him on the city. How did you sell the city to him?
A lot of drinks, some fancy dinners.
Do it in Pittsburgh.
Paul and his wife Emily came out for a long weekend. We went out and got pretty drunk a couple of nights in a row and talked about kind of just, it wasn't really, we didn't talk a whole lot about the semantics of the business or anything like that. It was more like getting to know you, because I didn't know Paul that well.
Getting to know you.
That's exactly right. He's playing the whole weekend, man.
All about.
Yeah, and just had him in, and we had so much fun the one night that they missed their flight.
Whoops.
Oh shit!
Oh, you talking like that was it?
Oh,
You didn't plan that?
that was planned because he had to also buy the next flight. So like, yeah, I mean, he was like, that was a business.
Right,
and she's like,
they'll let you transfer.
oh yeah. I don't know, but are you flying me? Are you flying me out on a transfer?
Oh, you was a fly out. Paul was a fly out.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah, I mean, like, he had to fly out.
You was not, bro.
Beer thought?
But on that trip, I was like really pumped about food and drink in Pittsburgh. Being from Chicago, we saw like especially like the West Loop neighborhood of Chicago just blow up over the last 6-7 years with Stephanie Izzard's restaurants there, Girl and the Goat and Little Goat, and Au Cheval across the street, which everybody says has like the best hamburger in the world.
Brilliant.
And then Haymarket Brew Pub's right there. Rick Bayless put like a Oaxacan street food inspired brew pub right there. It's a crazy little strip
Next
of the
time
city.
I'm in Chicago, I need to hit you up
Yeah,
beforehand to get the like the
I'll get you
real
hooked up.
deal Holyfield. Like I was out there and I was only out there for like a couple of days and like we performed in Old Town and shit and like
Yeah.
I always fuck it up. Is it like Lou Malnati's?
Yeah, Lou Malnati's.
Yeah, Lou Malnati's.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like that was the deep dish. Like, everybody's like, because usually when you get the chains and shit like that, like people are like, yeah, well, that ain't the real shit. You got to go to there. But I mean, it was like when I went there, I was surprised. Like, so when you come to Pittsburgh, everybody's like, you got to go to Permanis. Like that's Pittsburgh, and I tell everybody like, no, don't you go to motherfucking Permanis, bro.
Do people really say that though?
They really do be saying that shit, bro. You know how many people?
I mean,
be like,
I've been here
I gotta.
for a long time, but I've never said it.
No, I've never said it. I lived here, like, but but with Chicago, that actually was a thing that like real Chicagoans were like,
Yeah, Malnati's is awesome.
yeah,
man.
it's a real motherfucker. Like you should have that.
Chicago,
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, this is episode 22. I'm gonna be singing the whole fucking time. I'm gonna be singing.
But
So
I do want to get into some of the other spots in Chicago next time we out there or whatever. I mean, shit, me and Ed and Norlex probably gonna head out to what's the Zanies, the
comedy club, yeah,
down there in
awesome.
Old Town or whatever. I mean,
I gotta do a dope comedy show out there with Dave Hellen, man. I got really like.
Oh,
fucking
Dave Hellen,
set that up. Dave be doing his
yeah.
thing.
You guys like sketch?
I've never done it.
Like sketch comedy,
Yeah.
like improv
We've
or whatever.
done-
Yeah.
well, let me not say I've never done it. I've done some sketch. I don't know. Like you gotta, it's a different there's a different gland that you activate. To
Yeah,
sketch.
sketch. Well, when you talk about if you talk about like recorded sketch, having versus like improv, those are two different things. Like improv, like you're talking about like Second City,
Yeah,
which
Second
is huge
City.
out there. You know what I mean? Like, but like Second City is Second City and that's a highly prestigious school of improv that you're getting a higher level. You know what I mean, it's just not the little like $5 sign up and like you come in and like everybody's just trying to
Yeah,
so
it
like
ain't everybody off the street.
Yeah,
you gotta
yeah, I
have
mean-
a little bit of. You gotta come with a little bit of credentials.
Yeah, so like I appreciate improv on that level because improv as an art form is either really fucking trash or really fucking great. There's not a lot of middle in there. You know what I mean? So like coming like from Chicago, I'd imagine you have a great appreciation for it because you've been able to like experience the good shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, going to Second City like as early as like high school, just going up there with friends or on dates or whatever. It's a great, hilarious spot to go hang out. They got great margaritas next door. That helps. And I ended up at Solomon. I worked with a guy who went through the Second City School, and I just appreciated all his stories. Like he grew up knowing like Bill Hader and stuff, and like got to see his career like take off, and it was just a wild thing to be connected to. Like seeing how many people end up in really awesome opportunities and careers coming out of that place.
Yeah. Todd Glass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget what episode he was on, but
He was on an episode,
it
man.
was an illicit
Shit, I
picture
mean,
of us.
There was some edited photos that were that were dropped afterwards.
Infamous illicit.
Can you tell me what the hell? Because I'm not even drinking. So we had your lager. Thank you about it, and I appreciate that.
The aroma of this.
Yeah.
I haven't even tasted it, but I was about to taste it, and then the aroma hit me. And I was like, okay, let's talk about this before I jump in.
That's why we're the drinking partners. Because we had the same. I smelled that shit. I was like, wait, hold up.
As soon as you open that can, it just takes over the room. It really does.
Yeah, it's a really fun beer. I didn't expect it to smell that big. It's called Nebula Colada. This is our guava coconut tart shake IPA. Ooh, so we took the milkshake IPA and spun it around a little bit by we added some acidity to it. We do like a kettle soured version of a milkshake IPA. And we've done a bunch kind of in this series, and this one is so tropical. We use a ton of pink guava puree. We use toasted coconut in the mash, and then again in the whirlpool. And the tropical fruit flavor out of this is insane. It's like drinking an umbrella cocktail.
This is good as hell.
Thank you.
Like from the time it hits your tongue to the time it like really resonates what you just had. Like the
not
flavor
a bad moment
and
in this bitch.
The after. What?
It smells dope. It drinks dope. It feels like the mouthfeel is crazy. It finishes like it's.
Buzzy, have you had?
Nah, man. Like
I'm still getting that. Like as I speak more and say more W's.
Yeah,
the aftertaste.
It keeps coming. I mean, like it's crazy.
What the fuck is this?
It's like a wonderful beach cocktail.
What the fuck is this?
Right.
We're just getting ready for summer. It's snowing out today. We gotta pretend.
I don't even know what the fuck is this? Like
that one was popular.
That's a problem. That's what the fuck
that's
that
actually
is.
Almost gone now too.
Oh no!
Yeah. Well, you need to do it again.
Problem.
Oh, we will. We'll do.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, 7.2.
Yeah,
7.2
on there.
And it's a 7.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
That's dangerous.
Because 7 is like a sweet spot. Because we drink so much, it's a sweet spot. It's not light. It's not heavy.
It's like what do they call it? The brewer session. That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Jeff says like.
Yo, whoo, what the fuck?
I'm glad you like it.
I'm glad I like it. Shit. I'm glad you brewed it.
It's true. Like this is a volunteer effort. You came into this podcast.
Who hits us this strong up front? Like
that's an IPA too.
Kinda.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
because it doesn't man.
Yeah,
it
what
doesn't.
style would you describe it as?
Well, they labeled it as an IPA. That's what it says on it.
Right?
But yeah,
look, shit. Lil Uzi Vert's a rapper. But you know what I'm saying, nah, I do what I want. Like that's not a rap. So, what?
I would call it like a tropical sour ale. That would sum everything
sour
up.
tropical sour ale.
Yeah, and we were just talking about kettle souring here. Nothing fancy. It's not touching oak. It's not getting any long process. It's getting soured overnight in the kettle, nice and clean with lactobacillus. Comes out and then proceed with.
Oh, so there's lactobacillus in this?
Mm-hmm. Not anymore. If there is any, it's dead.
It's dead.
Well, yeah, but that's what you brewed it with. I mean, because that's the sour.
The souring bacteria. Yeah. So
I feel like it make my breath smell good.
I think so.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, man.
It's like
don't you feel more confident when you get pulled over? Like it's okay, officer.
It's a nebulous.
Yeah.
You understand, right? Like, I would get pulled over and just give the officers like, hey, bro.
Hey, yeah.
Son, why do you smell like orange Mentos?
We'll just slide this to you. Go ahead.
Mentos fresh is full tonight.
Yo, what that was the fucking who the fuck? First of all, those Mentos things was long as shit back in the day. Who was carrying that in their pocket and popping one out?
They was.
Mentos better, Mentos.
I don't know who was doing the actual minty dips. Those fruity ones, you can crush those hard. But the minty ones, the minty ones.
I've tried to pull a Mentos out one time at a party. It's fucking smiling.
There's no cool way to pull out a
nothing to
Mentos.
do. Like,
It's not like it is on the computer.
It looked like a mothball.
Yeah.
Did you hold the pose like
Eat
those
this
commercials?
mothball.
Yeah. Got old lady candy.
Give me your phone number. Speaking of old lady candy, can I have to share something. So wifey bought Werthers. It had them at the crib.
You know what, man?
And I was really disappointed.
So let me. So here's the thing about Werthers, and I'm not going to allow any Werthers slander on this podcast. I mean, Werthers was the new age back in the day because there was butterscotch. There was a day. There was a day when there was a day when butterscotch was raining across the land. All right,
I don't eat
and that shit is trash. Butterscotch is trash. But when you had the Werthers with that little dot in that bitch, and let me tell you about texture. Let me tell you about mouthfeel. Werthers figure that shit out because that little dot in there and that little. I mean, when you sucking on the Werthers, it's a different feeling from any of the other mouth candy. You get that little suction in there, and it's a thing going on there. And it was buttery and it was sweet. It wasn't just butterscotch, but it also wasn't the fun ass candy. It was like the coming of age candy. Yeah, I mean,
y'all ain't buying this shit.
This is a coming of age candy.
Man,
it was going.
I don't buy it, but I love them.
Don't you love Werthers?
I love Werthers.
Don't you love
man.
Werthers?
Let's contextualize this. Okay.
Don't you love Werthers? That shit is a.
You're both married. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, now when you're in a domestic or married relationship, the candy you bring home. There's a big thing about that. It's gotta be community candy. It's gotta be something everyone can enjoy. You're not bringing on no fucking Werthers and putting it in the kitchen. You better bring on some Trolleys or some sour shit. You bring on some fucking Werthers. You know I'm not opening that bag. You know I'm not touching that.
She trying to bring
Werthers.
some sophisticated individuals
No,
over. Yeah, I mean,
my
she trying to
She trying to
bring the family to a different
Fucking
tax bracket, bruh.
Oh,
she invite.
Werthers consumers don't even pay taxes.
Bruh,
They're social security nigga. They didn't fucking pay.
She trying to bring she trying to bring some investors over. Yeah, I mean, that's the investors candy.
You've changed. You've changed.
She trying to change
Although
you.
this probably does taste really good with caramel candy.
I was like, I could follow this up with a Werthers, man.
You didn't say you.
I was thinking that. I was thinking like you could follow this up with a Werther.
You didn't say that. Get out.
That is that's a Werther.
You ever reached out? You thought your friend was gonna support you, and then they go totally left on you. Like, wait a minute, I don't even know this guy. All these years, I don't even know you. I love Werthers.
This motherfucking
I
Nebula.
Just met him. He said he loved Werthers. That's cool. All right, I didn't know that, but dang,
who doesn't know? I didn't know you didn't. I didn't know you didn't like Werther. Who doesn't like Werthers?
I don't accept who gives you a Werther. First of all, I don't even know if I've ever tasted Werthers. I'm gonna be honest. Fuck out of here.
Shit is delicious.
Like
That's why, it's
Werthers.
delicious. Shit
Only
is delicious.
candy I accepted from old people was the strawberry shit, where the wrapper looked like a strawberry. I don't even know what it is.
All-time best.
Yeah, with little green top,
little
green tops on them.
It was the wrapper was a strawberry.
100%.
You don't know who made it.
No.
Never saw the bag. It came individually wrapped.
No idea who that company was.
We don't know who that is.
But there's a difference between the solid dips and the ones with a little bit of in the middle. You see what I'm saying? The ones in the middle was the real strawberry. I hated the motherfucker where you crunch into that motherfucker and it's just still hard candy. You be like, oh, it's cheap.
And it's the hard candy that stick to your molars.
Yeah. I mean, like,
you got to start. I'm trying to get it out your molars. Who makes the strawberry candy?
That's a very good question.
They are so rich.
Very good question.
That shit ain't never died. Man, if you go to an old person crib and they got that dish, because young millennials, we don't have dishes on our
we are not a communal candy generation
dish on the coffee table. We don't have that no more. That's like a lost art.
Shit, I don't even know if motherfuckers have coffee tables all that anymore. I mean, half the time.
Oh, because we all got open spaces and shit. We want to do yoga in the living room. Weird ass young people.
It's a weird thing. People hang out because typically if I have people over at a house, it's not even like to hang out on the couch. It's kind of like more of a party type situation.
It's a fluid situation.
Yeah,
you never know where people gonna end up when you have them hang out. But the old people, they got the coffee table and they got the festive chandelier looking dish and they got the strawberry wrapper candy in there. And boy, I would fucking bang a strawberry wrapper candy.
And the one that I like, the church candy was the malted, like the ones that melted in your mouth.
It had divinity in it. Yeah, it made you feel saved. You were sanctified.
Yeah, those malty, like,
it was blessed.
Mints type. They were mints, but they weren't.
Yeah,
whatever to find that one.
But whatever this is, and I'm never going to.
Jesus Christ.
That is okay. So we
205
episodes.
That's why we've been talking about candy because it's so fucking delicious.
It
was like
impact beer.
That's
an immediate impact beer. Whatever you're doing to make that, don't forget how you did that.
We're gonna keep doing it. We just had a meeting with the production team, all the brewers at Cinderlands got together on a Friday afternoon, and we all had the assignment to go home, spend some time brainstorming, come up with 3 or 5 like fully developed ideas about the next Tart Shake IPA. And then like a dozen just like riffs, just like whatever you want. Come up with some crazy stuff.
You don't need another Tart Shake.
Oh, we do.
You got the Tart Shake.
No. There's gonna be another one in like a month that you like just as much.
I don't have the capacity to deal with an extra like I'm gonna.
You about to have 2 problems in your hand.
up.
We about to be in this bitch like on a weekly basis. Like, oh, you got some of that?
Scratching.
Yeah, you got any more of them Tart Shakes, bro?
If he scratches his nipple while he orders,
I was just on my way home, just wondering. Yeah, I mean, no, this
is the perfect like amalgamation of non-traditional training, but investment into what you're doing.
That's it, man. Let me tell you about the next one that's in tank. We were making a blueberry pancake version of this beer.
See, all right? Now, I personally don't get down on blueberry pancakes. I don't like blueberries as a fruit.
First of all,
as a medium.
You can put whatever you
as
want
a concept.
in a pancake. It's a pancake.
No, false. Blueberry pancakes are trash.
You are a trash human.
They are. I know they're wildly popular. Blueberries are offensive fruit. All right. I mean, I feel like it's they're not woke. They're not woke berries. All right. So
I need backstory.
They got this weird ass. I don't know what the fucking flavor is in the background. Like whenever you're in
floral,
but it's some weird ass like shit that just sits on your tongue, and you're like, man, fuck you. Like get the fuck out of here, bro. Yeah, I mean, it just be lingering around. It's a lingering ass berry. It's a lingering ass berry. Yeah, I mean, and I don't really fuck with it.
I thought that was a lingonberry.
A lingonberry, yeah, no. I mean, but I have come to appreciate it in beer. I don't know what it is, but however you brew it, typically it's acceptable in beer. I don't like it in pancakes. I don't like it in liqueurs. I don't like it in fruits. Like the candies. I don't like it in that. But in beer, I've found a way to enjoy it.
You need a blueberry Jolly Rancher?
Fuck those motherfuckers, man. No, you know what? No, you're right. A blueberry
I know
Jolly.
I'm right.
But dude, is there a bad Jolly Rancher?
Yeah.
We lying. What is it?
The last one of these.
You see, that's bullshit.
The last one of these we did tasted like a strawberry Jolly Rancher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What the fuck
really
are y'all doing? Y'all cheating.
No cheating. No cheating.
Y'all cheating. Look, okay, so we did 205 episodes. It's very rare that we harp on a beer like that. Whatever the fuck that Tart Shake is really fucking good. Not just on the swallow pause, but on the just, I'm still tasting this as I'm done with this. I don't know what he's talking about, the blueberry pancake. Whatever you're doing to create a blueberry pancake, I say proceed. I am in concert with whatever you're doing. Please do
come
that.
check it out.
Make it happen.
It's in the tank right now at our new place in the Strip District.
I don't know. I love blueberry pancakes.
What the fuck is wrong with him?
Syrup and butter. Come on now.
Come on, man. You put syrup and butter. You could put syrup and butter on broccoli, and that shit would be good. So where do you come? So where do you guys get the inspiration for a recipe? Are you generally doing like a brainstorm, like you said, with the staff, or how do you come up with?
I mean,
I've never heard of Tart Shake.
I've been making beer professionally for 6 years now, something like that. Mm-hmm. Well, hold on, let me think. 7 years, and it's you're constantly thinking about it. You'll be making beer one day, you'll taste something, and the ideas just never kind of stop rolling. And I think kind of what separates like the people who have to do this every day and come up with new beers all the time, that's clearly what people want. They want new beers all the time. They want their palates to be stretched. They want to be surprised. They want the whole package. They want it to happen like what you just experienced with this beer. They want that every time they go to a can release, every time they go and sit down in a brew pub. So it's really my job and my staff's job for us to come up with beers that are going to surprise and delight people in that way all the time. It's like kind of a bummer because like I feel like we're on a little bit of a like rabbit wheel that we're never going to get off, but at the same time it's like, how awesome is that we just get to like exercise creativity in our jobs every day? That
is such a fear in like, I mean, like in the arts, because you're an artist. As a brewer, like I wholeheartedly believe brewers are artists. Like you're taking, a thing and creating newness, and whatever, and like you're using your creative skills to do this. And as a creative, like, I remember like reading The Oatmeal. There was a, comic, back in the day. And he was like, there's a common fear in artists that like it's going to dry up at some time. That like sometime at some point you're going to, run out of ideas. But like, you shouldn't look at creativity like a pond. You should look at it like a river. And like, as you're living life, like, as a river, like, things are flowing into that to make it constantly be streaming. Sure. As opposed to a lake that is what if you pull from a lake, it's eventually going to dry up. You see what I'm saying? So
yeah,
like,
it's a great metaphor. That's perfect.
Yeah,
trying to get all deep and shit.
But no,
and I'll be sitting there like, yo, like imagine trying to follow that. For 205 episodes, this shit good as fuck. This is a river. Imagine a river flowing upstream, and you consistently several streams that feed into the river.
Oh man!
And all of these streams, they turn into what is the bed that is the pond. And I'm just like, yo, this shit good as fuck. Fuck is this?
But I'm with you, man, because like I've never like when I was teaching, beer was a thing, right? When I was in college, I had like organizations I worked with, and that was like a thing. I always have to have like my main focus and then something else or other things that are like filling the gap for me, giving me like the fullness that you would expect. And like those things these days are like hiking, photography, like birding. Don't tell anybody.
No, you told everybody. You don't tell anybody. You
but
told
like,
everybody.
All you go out and you photograph and like view and hear and identify birds. Right now we're going through
bird watching.
Yeah, spring migration right now. We got all these species coming up.
Did you see that yellow robin that motherfucker was all about?
No, who's talking about it?
So there was a yellow robin, like the
where? Oh, I did see that. Yeah. Like part of it was yellow, right?
No, it was a whole ass yellow ass motherfucking bird. Was yellow as shit. He had the black eyes.
I don't believe it exists because
was it a robin or a cardinal? I don't know. It was a red
cardinal.
It was a red cardinal. Yeah, okay, it was a yellow cardinal.
Yeah.
Nobody tried to kill it and cook it.
See, that's what a smart motherfucker would have did that shit.
I would have.
I want to know.
Served that cardinal
hell
and fucking butcher and rye.
That's how I see animals.
You'd be a terrible birder.
You get a little sliver of this yellow cardinal over here. You know what I mean?
$1,000 bird.
Get this little cardinal nugget. You know what I mean?
Stole some of that bird semen and.
Because that's how I see animals. Like, and they beautiful, but they're better on a plate. You know what I mean? They look way more attractive with some sauce next to them
some
bitches.
Seasoning on that motherfucking yellow bird would have some orange Lowry's on that bitch. I'd have fucking. How you season? Do you go one time or do you go back? You go across one, or you go across and back?
Oh, it's got to be a little bit of a light sprinkle back and forth. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
You season the fuck out of that. Yeah, listen, man.
You Salt Bae that motherfucker?
No, because I season it and I massage the seasoning in. I don't trust that the seasoning got into it.
Oh, yeah, you rub it.
I got to massage. Yeah, pause. I be massaging Mad Meats.
Nigga be rubbing meats.
Sorry,
meats.
y'all, on the second episode.
He said mad meats.
We ain't worth a damn on the second episode. You keep giving us this colada. He doubled up on the colada.
That is.
I thought we had killed the can of colada.
No.
I hope we haven't because I want more of.
I want to introduce this to my friends.
No,
I got mad friends coming up from like DC or whatever for Fresh Fest. I kind of want to just send them cans of like the best shit that I've tasted.
Well, Cinderlands will be at Fresh Fest. So
yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's true.
Now the colada might not be, but I'll be like, yo, these people, whoever made this, will be there. You need to come see them because this shit, God, what the
thanks,
fuck?
man.
The first one that I had, Buzzy brought this can. It was like this stout, and it was like a milky fucking.
Scared of the stout.
Chocolate. It was so
scared of the stout.
What?
Y'all didn't bring a stout, did you?
Oh, we brought a special one for
Oh man,
you. This one's got Thin Mint Girl Scout cookies in it.
What?
God damn you!
Wait.
Do they have to endorse
Speaking
this?
of stouts, let's
do they have
pour
to endorse
this
that
one.
when you do a thin?
No,
Okay.
we actually remove. We don't really reference it at all. Like we don't.
You
want
just
any.
said it.
I mean,
I'm not. Look.
Whoa.
First of all, they be at the grocery stores. I be trying to go in, and you be going to the grocery store to buy weird shit like stamps or drop off your dry cleaner, and these fucking Girl Scouts are in the lobby with these little 6-year-olds. Like, I need you to give me $5 so I can go.
How many troops did you guys clean out?
Three troops.
Oh wait. So you threw actual Girl Scout cookies in that bitch? I love Girl Scout cookies, man. They are like
I just don't fuck with Girl Scouts, man. It's like
you don't fuck with Girl Scouts? It's a.
they're
Is it a cult?
the culture,
Is it a
man.
cult? No,
They
that's a
using them
cult,
They
not a
using them
culture.
little girls, man.
They are making hella
Using
money.
them little girls,
I
man.
I like as woke as I want to be. Man, Girl Scout cookies, bro, they just a different
It
thing.
ain't even that they
man,
don't taste
bruh.
good. I'm saying they be
They
using
are
them little
something,
girls.
man. Them trefoils,
Look,
man.
back in the day, maybe the Girl Scouts, you know what I'm saying?
Tag-alongs,
when it
man.
was reasonable that you are one paycheck away from living outside. All right, I understand the Girl Scouts. Come on, man.
Like, I mean,
And I'm not using these
yeah.
outdoor skills. They ain't even learning these outdoor skills.
Oh,
You
the
giving-
girl. Oh, you mean like the?
you giving them
you
sashes
You
for
talking about like the
creating websites and
concept
shit.
of
I don't-
scouts?
Yeah, nah.
I don't know
man.
any. I don't see. Listen,
They
I don't know
hustling
enough
us,
about.
man.
I don't know enough about like
They
scouts
hustling
to.
us.
Yeah, I mean, none
And then my sister
none
was
of
a
our
Girl
kids was
Scout,
in
and
that,
they
man.
wouldn't let me.
Word?
And I had to. So my sister was just old enough that we had to go home from school together, but she had to do the meetings first, and they just would have me sitting in the back of the room just watching them eat cookies and shit.
Yeah.
Like, that's fucked up, bro.
I think my sister was in the Girl Scouts for like 6 months, maybe. You know
I
what
don't know how
mean?
long
Like,
she might have
but-
only been in for 2 meetings, but them 2 meetings were
Yeah,
packed.
yeah. I mean, like, but like,
still mad at
I don't
the
know
Girl
anything about
Scouts.
anything else.
I'm 32
All the
years
politics
old,
and shit.
mad as fuck at the Girl Scouts. Like, what y'all trying to teach? They playing hangman and shit. I know the letter, but they don't let me guess.
But the motherfucking cookies, though.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
I mean, it's hard, it's weird. It's weird, man. Because like I don't like the politics of a lot of the products that
They ain't making Oreo cookies,
But-
them the only cookies I really like.
Oreo cookies are the goat of cookies. I mean, just
Without
let me
question.
just like not even.
Oh,
it's
and
not
when they
even
came
a-
out with double stuff,
No,
no, it was the game was sold up. Which one we at?
So that's the tart. That's the milkshake. That's the style. There. But no, Oreo is the go to cookies. There's not a Girl Scouts love them. Truffle is.
Are we all
Oreo.
in agreement there?
Yeah.
They looking, they like the
They're like,
Thin Mints because they made a beer out of it.
I like a chocolate chip cookie more than any
Oh,
other cookie.
chips
Chocolate,
Ahoy,
yeah.
or what's your favorite chocolate chip?
I come from Chicago. We have this brand called Matt's. I don't know if you guys have Matt's here,
No.
but it's like a really big, like soft cookie.
Yeah.
I was gonna say with chocolate chip,
So
you either
good.
have a preference of soft or crunchy.
You gotta go soft.
I'm
You gotta
soft,
make it.
go
dude.
soft.
Yeah, I'm a
soft.
soft. Yeah.
Some people like a crunchy chocolate chip though, so that's the first distinction.
My favorite cookie. It's my favorite ice cream too. Cookie
Little
dough.
cookies and cream.
Yeah.
Wait, cookie dough? Oh yeah,
absolutely.
so that's so it's still a chocolate chip.
Cookie
Yeah, I
dough
mean,
versus
yeah.
cookies and cream?
Cookies and cream is
and
my
cream is good,
favorite.
too.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go
I mean,
cookies
yeah.
and
like
cream.
cookies
It
and
damn
cream.
near had an R&B song, Cookies and Cream.
Yeah, no, it is. No, it actually
Peaches
is.
and cream. But
Oh, peaches and cream. Oh, yeah.
I would substitute peaches with cookies.
Yeah, but I prefer the
Cookies
cookie.
and cream. I would sea walk to that. Be sea walking to.
Yo, that shit. Yeah, no. Shout out to 112.
Crazy. Like, yo, when you got something just hits and it just hits. Like you can't duplicate peaches and cream. Like,
Nah.
it was a non-gangster song with a completely gangster sea walk.
Yeah,
That was like you were
yeah.
sea walking about peaches and cream. It's the S, the L, the M.
Let me tell you what
When
I
the last
wanna
time you
do.
spelled another dude's name out? Spelled another dude's name out. just
With
sonically,
glee.
it sounded good.
With glee.
It's the S, the L, the I, the M.
Yo. But nah, I do fucks with cookies and cream. That is my favorite. I would say before like cookie dough is dope as shit. I would say that's probably my second favorite. Cookies and cream my first. But I have not had this beer yet. Let me try a little bit of this. You said there's some
You
thin
will
mints
be
in this
pleasantly
bitch.
surprised.
Not some Thin Mints, a lot of Thin Mints.
You will be pleasantly surprised, especially if you're. So the Thin Mint is the only mint like non-chewing gum thing that I like. This is true to form and
You know what I like about this
well
is,
executed.
is that you
Thank you.
get the mint in there, but you don't get that like crazy dumb cool feeling that you get. I mean, I don't like that shit. Like when you drink those what's that fucking thing that the drink with the mint that like you crush it in, and what the fuck are you calling that shit? It's like Mexican or whatever the fuck. You know, the mixed drink.
A mojito?
Mojito.
Yeah.
Yeah, it got mint in that bitch, like actual mint, and you crush that bitch up and you drinking it, and you get this cool sensation on the back, and you be like, and it's you breathe it out or whatever. I don't want all that shit. I love the mint flavor. I don't want that mint effect.
It gives you that mint, like, no, this is supposed to be mint, but it's not. It doesn't have the mint effect because you know if you mint like outside of the cookies or whatever, it almost feels like your parents forced it on you, like freshen your breath. You know what I mean? Like get your shit right. Like it almost feels forced. But this is well executed, very true to form. Can y'all have some sort of collaborative effort where, you know, the young girls are selling the cookies to the collective and then y'all standing beside them like, yo, to the parents who gotta, you know what I mean, go ahead and get your brew on.
I don't know. We tried to steer clear of any of that this time, you know.
Shit, I be hustling with the girl. They ain't doing nothing but hustling you.
They are hustling.
They ain't doing nothing but hustling you. You ain't seen no pictures from a Girl Scout, nothing.
You should have seen how the scene unplayed. Like, I went to 3 different Giant Eagles to try to find enough Thin Mints for this beer.
That's their stomping ground.
We were looking for like 150 or so boxes to get like the pounds per gallon we wanted in the beer. And, you know, first you get in there and you say, hey, you know, I'm real hungry. How many Thin Mints you have? They're like, oh, we got plenty. Like, how many boxes do you want? I'm like, no, I don't want boxes. I want cases. How many cases do you want?
How many boxes you want? All the ones you got.
I need weight, bro.
Y'all can't. Yeah, I mean, y'all can't communicate with them directly, though.
Anytime you go to a plug, you got to go. Listen, I need weight. Yeah,
there's no way to communicate. But there's no way to communicate with Girl Scouts direct.
Oh, there might have been, but I mean, look, we're a local brewery. We're making small batches. I wanted to go out and support the local troops.
Well, I was gonna say, I guess they may have it set up to where you have to. It has to be attributed to a troop. Although I feel like Girl Scouts would be like, no, we'll take it. Don't even.
I almost feel like it could be a dope ass thing where you could even like have like a bunch of different Girl Scouts that you kind of frequent. Yeah, I mean, and you sell out
shortbread cookies.
I mean,
do an IPA with the shortbread.
Ooh, shortbread IPA or something. No, I don't know. I wanted to say a shortbread IPA. I said shortbread like shortbread. Oh shit, a shortbread stout. Well, is it too dark for shortbread? Would you go with a Belgian? Would it be a shortbread Belgian?
That'd be good.
Yeah,
Tagalog stout.
Well, you can't do that.
The Tagalog stout.
We technically own half of that.
Tagalog stout.
Because what we're not going to do 205 episodes in is keep giving away these money moves.
Because those are, for me, it's Thin Mints, it's Tagalogs, and it's what's the other dip? The peanut butter chocolate dip. What's them called?
I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name. This is actually getting better every time you jump into it. Like every additional sip.
Well, that's it with milk. With mint, you don't want it to be too strong because as it builds like that, like herbs build like that, right? Other stuff typically doesn't.
The mint is building.
You don't want it to get to that point where you feel that
building.
Like
that's good
back of your throat, kind of like heat, right?
Because that first sip, I didn't get a lot of the mint, but I tasted that it was true to form to a certain extent. But then as I continue to go in, I'm getting more, but it's still not offensive, still not like I'm drinking Listerine, but it's
that's what I hate with it. I mean, remember that Gatorade? They had the Gatorade Cool
I don't know
or Frost
why
or whatever the fuck.
I don't
and
know
like
why
you would drink it and it would just have this weird ass cool feeling. I was like, why the fuck? I don't want this.
I was just hooping. First of all, I'm only drinking Gatorade if I'm on a road trip or if I'm drunk.
Truthfully, and
ain't nobody trying to replenish
at room temperature typically. Yeah,
like I'm not hooping at Mellon Park with a whole ass Gatorade on the side. Yo, fuck, I got some water or I'm just thirsty after hooping. But you know, when you drunk, you get a Gatorade because for some reason somebody lied to you and told you them electrolytes help.
Listen, man, Gatorade in the morning. That's a great hangover thing. I mean, but Gatorade Frost is a whole nother thing.
Anything that's good and then they add an extra adjective on it, I'll be like, I'm gonna avoid that. I'm gonna avoid that adjective.
Now, you was good there. Now you're doing too much.
Yeah, you done changed it to a clear bottle cap. I'm cool.
Yeah, I don't trust clear, flavorful shit. If it's clear, if I can't, lie to me. Like, make it red. Like,
You gave me clear, flavorful water last night.
Yeah.
He was trying to sell us on this liquor water.
No, I wasn't trying to sell it. Some dude brought this.
You
shit. It was
were,
called
because
water.
that dude didn't talk to us directly at all.
But he did hand it. It was called like some water type shit, and it was water. It was really it was like a lightly flavored water that had alcohol in it.
It tastes like you had a cup of juice you finished, and then you put a cup of water.
It was like a water with lemon. Yeah, I mean, you squeeze
it
a
was
little
water
bit of
with juice.
Is it carbonated?
It wasn't carbonated at all.
Really?
It was
in a bottle.
I mean, but it was 4.5%. I mean, so
water
like, and
in
you
a
couldn't
glass
taste. Like you couldn't. I mean, at that point, I was pretty shit faced. So I don't know if you at sober you could drink it and get there was alcohol
you'd be like,
in that
this
bitch.
tastes like water,
But it tastes like
on top
water.
of juice.
Yeah,
It was not good.
Nah, it was not a thing that I would ever
It
order.
was absolutely terrible.
I mean, but if I was like if I was like playing like softball, it would be like a softball. So,
I couldn't be. There's nothing that I could be doing that was like, let me go to that drink. Not at all. I'd go to a Gatorade Frost before that.
Wow. Yeah.
It was Zima without the carbonation.
That says a lot because Gatorade Frost is trash and Zima is trash as well.
Remember Zima had, who did they have? Richard Lewis as their spokesperson or something?
I don't even know. Man.
Yeah,
they had a spokesperson.
Yeah, Zima was big for what my
I know
mom
it was
used to
big
drink
for a
Zima.
while. Yeah, and then it disappeared because it was
Zima
trash.
came before there was Limeritas and Smirnoffs. There was Zima.
There was you're right. Then I don't know what the fuck they did. I don't know how they birthed.
Marketed to middle class and was like, here's something that you can drink.
You know what it was?
That won't make you not be a good parent.
It was one of those trash. It was a trash ass bottle because the bottle was shaped like that granny glass. You know the granny glass, the thick ass like the super thick granny glass that you get that's like it has the ridges on the side.
Ooh,
yeah, I mean, and you could
The
drop that
Family Dollar
bitch.
glass.
Yeah, you could drop that
got
bitch,
them
and it could be. I mean, that's what the Zima bottle was. The Zima bottle had the ridges on it. It was the granny glass in a bottle. I think that's what fucked it up. Yeah, I mean, Smirnoff was like, "How about a smooth glass?" And motherfucker was like, "Yep, cool." I mean, sold.
I had a Smirnoff phase. How did you guys get out of? So you guys are making really good crafted beer. How did you get out of the shitty drink phase? Like, what facilitated? And we don't ask that enough. What facilitated you getting out of the shitty drink phase? Because everyone goes through the shitty drink phase, if only because of financial, stipulation. Like, how did you get out of that? What was like, you know what? I should drink better.
I mean, for me, for like going from drinking, light macro beer all the time, I don't mean to steal yours if this is what you were going to say, but I really like Allagash White. Like, first time I had an Allagash White, I was like, I don't want to drink shitty beer anymore. And I was like, that was it, really. Tried that, and I was like, I never knew beer could taste like this. And just drank that, like, time and time again, and then started getting into other stuff. Like, I only ever drank beer, and then I started getting into, like, brown liquor and stuff like that. And trying
brown.
Trying all
brown, it's going down.
That's right. And that's what did it for me. It was just like seeing that like there's a lot of stuff out there that has really good flavor to it, and you can make it really nice and delicate and balanced, and there's all kinds of like great stuff like that out there to try. That's what did it for me.
Mine was a really weird beer that did it for me. I was out in Wrigleyville in Chicago. I was at a show at the Metro, which is a venue. Yeah,
they named the whole neighborhood after the stadium.
Yeah,
God damn.
And it's wild. But I was at a show at this place across the street called Metro. Spent a lot of time there. And we walked down the block to the Goose Island Wrigleyville Brew Pub, which is no longer around. But we're hanging out there, there's a group of friends. And my buddy comes back holding this like wine glass looking thing with like a gothic metallic M on it with like a gold rimmed lip. I'm like, what is this thing, man? Like, what are you doing? We're sitting there drinking 312s and probably like bottles of Miller Lite too, I would imagine at the time. And he's like, this is a Matilda. Like the bartender said, like, you got to try it. So
Matilda.
I tried it and it was crazy. It's a beer that's based on Orval, which is like a Belgian pale ale bottle conditioned with Brett. So it's like super funky initially, like in its early years, it's hoppy, and then it fades into like dry vinous, like super, super like barnyardy funk. And like that was my introduction to like what beer can be. That was like the jump over to like what's next, what else is out there. And at that time, I think I was home from grad school. So when I got back out to school, I, dipped into all the local bottle shops, lucky to have like some good ones with a ton of Belgian beers. And I just like worked my way through Belgian beers and then into American craft from there. And then that was it, man. Like it was one beer that did it.
But man, Belgians are like, I mean, those are for me, like the gateway. You know what I mean? Like it's a gateway drug. Like
you can taste in Belgians that they have a beer like culture. You know what I'm saying? Like beer is the it's the primary drink source there.
Yeah.
Whereas here is not so much the primary, but
yeah, I feel like Belgians did a lot. Like, and they like a lot. Like, and then like crazy ass styles like coming out of Belgium. I mean, like, isn't like every beer a Belgian beer? And then like, because I mean, they do like the sours, but then they do like wheat beer, and then, like there's so many different. Like when you say a Belgian, like what does that encompass?
Yeah, well, the beer that I had, Matilda, that was Orval's a Trappist brewery. But they don't fall in line with the other ones in terms of the style of beer they make. Those other breweries, you'll get, a double, a triple, a strong dark, and then they'll have like a Potter's beer, like a single that the like monks themselves will drink. Orval, like as far as I know, they don't do that. They make this Brett Pale, so it's like hopped like an English ale.
So you gotta slow the fuck down. You said a lot of shit in that little bit of, you know what I mean? And I was like, wait, so they said the Trappist and then the single, and that's what I mean, that's what they be drinking, but I'd be like, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
So wait, what's the shit that the actual monks are drinking?
So they're drinking this stuff called Potter's beer, or like Father's beer. Yeah. So it was like, or they call it Ankel sometimes, Ankel. And that was like a single. So it was a lower strength beer than they would typically release. When these monks are brewing beer in the Abbey, they're selling them to fund their operations, putting new roofs on the building, doing their acts of service, etc. Like they need income to do what they do. So that's one way that allow them to do it. Others make cheese, others do all kinds of stuff. So the Trappist breweries that people are most familiar with in the United States anyway, like Westmalle and Rochefort, and West Flatiron, like all those make like a double, a triple, Belgian double, Belgian triple, Belgian quad, which is the way we would refer to them. And Orval just like kind of doesn't do that. They're like the weird odd guy out, and they make this like Brett bottle conditioned like hoppy pale ale that like changes immensely over its like 4 or 5 year like life in a bottle. And that's kind of like the first beer that introduced me to it. But the Belgians, that's like one piece of it, is that monastic tradition. They have this
monastic tradition.
Yeah, the monks.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
But then they have,
that's a word I never heard.
Yeah, that's true. 205.
And typically with words I never heard, I let it slide. I give you like 6 sentences to provide me with content. I give you 6 sentences, and then I'll be like, all right, we got to go back to this monastic shit. What? He jumped in early, but I was like, I was all intent. Like, all right, I'm gonna pick it up.
Here's a question. What?
I'm sorry. I shortened that word. It's monktastic, the monktastic tradition.
Oh, monk. Oh, you could be monktastic. Like,
that seems like they would have been a little more developed with.
Well, and that's one piece of Belgian brewing.
Monk, I'm monktastic. I graduated. I'm monktastic.
They in Belgium they make saison too. Like the whole farmhouse brewing tradition that we know in the United States for the most part comes from Belgium. So we love saison. We make a lot of saison.
What the fuck is that? What is the thing in saison that makes it like a saison?
So the thing in saison, well, it's a very hotly contested question that you just asked right there.
Yeah.
So you ask different people, you get different answers.
Yeah.
The saison that we're familiar with from Belgium and France here is a pale, dry, bitter, effervescent beer that's super, super refreshing and standard ABV. Like that's what everybody thinks of.
What's the standard ABV?
Saison DuPont, like 6%. And the full range of saison and farmhouse beer is a lot broader than that. There's amber saison, there's brown saison, there's lower ABV saisons, there's higher ABV saisons. And in America, brewers have fallen in love with this like one thing that we know of as saison, and they've kind of taken it in a million different directions.
Because I don't know if we've had a brown saison.
Oh man, maybe.
I don't remember having a brown saison.
I can't, like, if we did, I don't blame you for not remembering it.
Yeah, well, I always think color, kind of lighter.
Yeah, no, yeah. When I think
for
saison,
flavor.
yeah, like I like,
mean,
yeah.
not-
I think of like when I think of saison, I'm thinking like spring,
Yeah,
maybe, or
I'm
summer.
not thinking brown because when I think brown,
Spicy,
I'm thinking
like
more
herbal or
stout,
whatever.
stronger.
Yeah, and that's definitely like the kind of saison most people think of and most people brew here these days. But we know like from the history that it encompassed a much bigger range of ingredients and colors and malt flavors, etc. There's like a cousin style of saison from France called Bière de Garde, and the versions of that we typically get here are amber or brown. But even in Bière de Garde, there were pale versions, and even in saison, there were darker versions. So I think like American brewers have taken saison in a ton of different interesting directions, and we're making a pass at that too. We've got 2 Brett saisons in process right now. So fermented with a blend of saison yeast, one brewed with oats, one brewed with spelts, both fermented with Brettanomyces in addition to the saison strains we used. So we have one of those beers in bottles right now at our new location down in the Strip District, what we're calling the Cinderlands warehouse, and the other one's in tank at the original location on Butler Street. So we're going to start trying to push these things. We love them. They're beautiful, beautiful beers. And now we have the ability to put the time and attention and care into them that really makes them outstanding. So I'm super pumped. Hopefully I can share some of those with you pretty soon.
Definitely. Ain't nobody saying no
we are
over
the
here.
drinking partners. So.
Typically, how many do you have in the tuck? Like, you seem flavor forward. Like, how many do you have in the tuck in development that you're like, yo, we trying to make it work before we like, all right, this is a release? Like, how many?
Well, I mean, we've got kind of 7 families of beer that we think of, and we want to have something from each family on the menu all the time. Because those are the beers we believe in. They're the beers we love. They're the beers that we think you need in a brew pub in Pittsburgh in 2019.
Let me try to stout. Is that a family? Is it a stout porter?
Mm-hmm.
And we got IPA.
Mm-hmm.
And we got a lager.
Mm-hmm.
Pilsner. No,
that would,
Pilsner.
That would fit with lager.
Yeah,
lager.
lager is a Pilsner.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Got 3.
So you got saison. Is that a
Yep.
sour? All right. Sour.
Yeah, like the Berliner Weiss, like the fruited sour. Mm-hmm.
5. Oh shit, man. Oh, all right. Yeah, no, I guess Belgian. No.
The other 2, like they kind of break the mold of like the style categories you've been going with. So I'm gonna help you out. We got the Tart Shake IPAs.
No.
Keep that.
Yes.
No reason to ever let that go.
And then the last one is tea and coffee beers. I love tea and coffee as beer ingredients.
Beers.
Yeah,
That can encompass stouts, I guess.
Oh yeah,
yeah. We
I had what the fuck did I have at Juicy Brews that y'all was pouring?
had a coffee sour ale.
Yeah, a coffee sour.
Coffee,
Yeah.
sour.
That's
That was a
what
weird
that.
one.
Yeah,
Fuck.
it was actually good as. I was like, because the people were like,
It
yo,
has to be for you to even put that out to people.
yeah.
A coffee
It's
sour.
one of those. It's so bold that it's like, yo, yeah. I mean, it's gotta be good. Like people are like, yo, did you have this coffee sour? I was like, the fuck?
Why? Everybody first thought it's
Why?
the fuck.
Why?
It's either the fuck or chew me.
Well, it's
What the fuck or what you mean?
But it was good as fuck. Like, cause it
Thanks,
was,
man.
Because it when like it had the flavors of like coffee. They had some of those like dose of coffee or whatever. But like when I think of like coffee, I think bitter, like you know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
And sour or whatever. And I was like, man, that juxtaposition, like I don't know if I'm ready for that. But it wasn't bitter. Like I mean, it had coffee flavor, but it was sour.
So did it highlight the coffee more as an aftertaste?
Yeah,
Or
like it was.
I think
it
for
was
a coffee sour to work, you got to get the sour feel, the coffee aftertaste. That's how
So
I feel.
what
but I could be totally off
it
base.
was for me at least, it was coffee flavor with a sour finish, and it wasn't like it didn't have that bitter. Like I thought it was going to be a bitter coffee next to each other, but it was just coffee flavor, no bitterness, and then like sour there, and it was like, oh
So
shit.
now I'm more interested because it's the inverse of what I would.
But that's at least what I was experiencing.
Yeah.
Tell me what the fuck that was.
Well, coffee is like Paul gravitates towards very bright, acid forward coffees when we do single origin kind of stuff. And depending on the way that you brew the coffee, just in the way that you brew the beer, very different process, obviously, but they tend to come out like tasting very different. Sometimes they can be really bitter. Sometimes they can be like very rich and roasty and like full and chocolatey. And this one, I don't know. I don't know what you guys were thinking when you came up with that. But
Well, we have played with coffee in like all different kinds of styles, everything from Belgian wit beer to pale ales to double IPAs. Like, to me, coffee presents so many more opportunities than just like roasty and caramely, right? You know, you're going to get that from coffee, but you can already get that from brewing grains. So why even go there? You know, like, what does it really add to a stout or a porter or something that's already got that like dark, caramely, rich complexity to it? I like it. I'm way more enthused by that kind of coffee, or by coffee going into beers that need some of that, right? So lighter styles. And then you can pick coffees that, in addition to like the roasted caramely bakery flavors that you know you're going to get, also have like fruity or floral or like earthy, like tamarind, like light lychee, like ginger. Like, those are all possibilities coming from coffee, especially if you work with a roaster who goes to origin and tastes the stuff there and is like looking for the same things that you want as a brewer. And I'm lucky to have Intelligentsia out of Chicago as a partner in that. And if they roast it properly, if you over roast a coffee, like, you're never going to taste any citrus, you're never going to taste anything floral. So having that like commitment to going to origin, working with people on the farms, like getting the best lots out there, because you can get coffee from one farm, but I mean, they're really savvy about how they do business, and they're going to sell the best lot for the most amount. And then they're going to sell the rest of it more in bulk, more less often in like a direct trade relationship. All their coffee's going to get sold, but they know how to get the most out of their crop, right? And we want to get that stuff that is the very best from the farms that our roasters are going and selecting and then roasting. So having that commitment to like the expense of going to origin for coffee, and then having like the delicate hand and like the point of view about coffee to roast it in a way that's going to bring us flavors that make sense in a wit beer or in a double IPA and aren't going to just be bitter and roasty and caramely. Like, that's like huge for me. So we'll bring in a bunch of coffees when we want to make a beer, brew them all, and then taste them against the beer at different ratios and figure out what works. And you couldn't make a coffee sour ale without doing that. You couldn't just say, all right, let's order some coffee, brew it, and blend it. You have to go through that process, because
you got to pick the right coffee that's going to even fit that style.
Yeah. 4 out of 5 are going to miss. Like, there's just no way. It doesn't matter what ratio you do it. It's not going to work. You got to find the one that works. And then typically for like a beer like that, you have to go at a really low ratio. Like, sometimes in our like stouts or double IPAs, we'll get up around like 8, 9, 10% cold brew coffee concentrate. That coffee sour, we're at like 3-4%, so much, much lower. So nailing the variety, nailing the roast, nailing the brew, nailing the blending, like, it's all has to happen for that beer to be good.
You're 100% right, man, because for a fucking sour coffee, I was like, well, we'll see. And you nailed it. Like, I mean, I honestly, like, it was, I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't know what, like I said, like the characteristics. There are so many characteristics in both of those, coffee and sour. I mean, and like you can accentuate, and you can, yeah, I mean, and like the alchemy that's involved in that is fucking, it's beyond me. Tell us a little bit about how, like, I mean, because you work with a crew and like the creative side of that. How do you develop? Like, what's your R&D like? Like, how do you know what's the next thing or whatever? I mean, like, because you with a creative team and whatnot, like, is there a system that you guys are implementing so that, like, that folks feel heard and that you're able to like progress, I mean, but also be managed in some way? I mean,
we're starting to get there. I think the 3 guys that I have on with me right now, none of them have been there a year yet. Everybody's super fresh because, we have our original brew pub down on Butler Street. We have this big one opening in the Strip pretty soon. I brought all those guys on in anticipation of this thing opening and me having to be pulled away to work with contractors, et cetera, to get this place open and start brewing. So my focus on them initially was, let's put you through this, apprenticeship, get you trained up. I'm lucky to have 2 guys that have a ton of experience. One of them comes from the same school of brewing that I come from, which is like the Rock Bottom tradition. Like Rock Bottom has put out a ton of amazing brewers over the country. And if you look around, like, they have this thing called the Order of the Black Phoenix. I don't know if I'm supposed to talk about this out in public or not. It doesn't sound like it after I say it out loud.
Yeah, as soon as you said the order, I was like,
yeah. So
sounds like club.
So like,
got like some robes.
So like former Rock Bottom head brewers have gone on and become like founding brewers and head brewers other places. So places like Three Floyds and Solemn Oath and Surly.
What?
Yeah, like a lot of amazing breweries have their head brewers come from Rock Bottom, and it's a great brewing tradition. So I have a guy from Rock Bottom. He learned all of his brewing professionally at Rock Bottom.
Yeah.
Brandon McCarthy.
Yeah, he was over at Brixton for a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, No, it's crazy. I mean, the industry is very promiscuous, and I love to see how people are able to go from one place and then like grow. Like, I mean, that's the beauty of a real apprenticeship. I mean, like in this industry, like you can start out at a place and then leave and then start your own shit. I mean, like there's so many, like most head brewers started out in that apprenticeship role in some way. You know what I mean, at another brewery, and then they open up elsewhere, and then they also take on other people. Like that's the fucking power of an apprenticeship.
No, it's really cool. It changes lives, man. Like my head brewer changed my life, bringing me in, took me on a totally different track that like I never thought I'd be going down like very long before that. And I'm lucky to have two guys who are really well experienced. This is by no means an internship or apprenticeship for them. It's more of us aligning and getting like super dialed in and on the same page. But then we brought in somebody totally green. Somebody who doesn't have any professional brewing experience at all, but loves beer. And I'll tell you what, this guy like lives his whole life around beer and just like eats it, drinks it, breathes it, etc. And like having that passion, like in a group of guys who have been doing this for a while, like we have a nice blend of like everything that we could need to go out and, you know, make the best beer possible for this big old brew pub we're about to open, and the other one that we love, and we're gonna keep going. So it's good, man. Everybody's starting to get involved. We had that meeting about the tart shakes, and we're just gonna keep working through our 7 families of beer until we have kind of all right, this is where we've been with our beer over the past year and a half. It'll be like closer to 2 years by the time we finish this project. And then like, here's where we want to go. Here's like, you know, 2 or 3 dozen ideas in each of these categories for how we want these beers to evolve, how we think we can be better, how we think that like we want to put our mark on this style. What do we want a Cinderlands Saison to be? And we're working on all that right now. And finally at a point where everybody's trained up enough where we can schedule and delegate and get organized, and we can trust that everybody goes in and does a real seriously good job. And then we come back together and we have room for everybody on the team to be creative now, which is awesome. And that's exactly what I want. That's how I want to lead this group. I've got a ton of talent in there, and it makes us make better beer for sure. Those guys all have assignments for recipes that they're going to develop, and it's going to be kind of an ongoing project. You know, Jamie kicks in beer ideas too. Like, here's a beer lover. Anybody in the company is welcome to come brew with us. We've had, you know, servers and bartenders come spend a day with us to get to learn more. And we've got, I don't know, do you know how many people we're hiring over at the new place? It's a lot.
I've been sharing the motherfucking like I've been sharing like, yo, if you're listening, man, like Cinderlands is hiring, and I'm like, yo, man, get some of these brothers down there, I mean, come through, you know what I mean, and like the new facility. So get some of these brothers down here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, I mean, like, because we were down at Juicy Brews. It's a beautiful fucking facility. You know what I mean? Right down there in the strip. So like, congratulations to that. I mean, I'm looking forward to that. Tell us a little bit about like I guess because I'm interested in seeing how you compare the Pittsburgh beer scene to the Chicago beer scene, and then how that is indicative of the future of the scene in general. You know what I mean? Because like, you know, there are some scenes that are younger than others, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, we're all still on the national market. Everybody's trying to distribute this and the other, whatever. There's a bunch of, you know, there's a bunch of paths. So like, what are the differences between that you've seen from Chicago to Pittsburgh? And then how does, you know, what do you think the future in general?
Man, I would say Chicago is like a pretty mature beer market when it comes down to it. Like, that scene started like really getting a lot of new blood into it like early, you know, like 2007, 2008 was like when you saw a wave of breweries starting to open. So breweries that have been ticking off like their 10-year marks now. So like, imagine like if you had, you know, Dancing Gnome and Grist House and Hitchhiker and Cinderlands like ticking 10 years right now, you know, we'd be like way deeper into it and there'd be a ton of people behind it. So it just like developed at a time when things were really different, and like the way you thought about what is a brewery was really different. Like back then it was very much like breweries that were focused on draft distribution. So like the whole business model was to like make beer, put it in kegs and sell it to bars, right? Like that just isn't a thing anymore. Like nobody would open a brewery with that as the plan. Like the plan these days is like you want to bring people to your spot. You have the on premise, the off premise, and the own premise. You want people to come to the own premise. You want them coming to your place, drinking your beer in the environment you create for them. Because being a brewery, like having the beer is fun, but I think the way people think of it now is like it's a place where you go to drink that beer too, right? So you want to go there, you want to get the full experience of what breweries putting out there and like hang out with their people, get to know the bartenders, like meet the brewers, meet the owners, and spend time in that place and take beer away from that place. And like that, having like a physical location attached where people go and spend a ton of time, like, and that's like the primary experience people have with your beer. Like that's a new thing. And especially like the packaging element that goes along with it. Like we had a 22-ounce bomber bottler. Like that's the canning line or the packaging line that we invested in at Solemn Oath back in the day. And like if you were going to open a brewery these days and get like a bomber bottling line, everybody would be looking at you sideways, right? Like nobody wants to buy beer in that format. Everybody wants cans these days. Like
I'm sitting here listening to that, and we discussed on the last episode just how beer economy mirrors the larger context of economy here in America. Just where you start seeing these niche, the drive towards or the move towards. So when you say on premise, off premise, own premise, I think that's where economy's going all together. Own and understand, own influence, own and kind of dictate how you consume. And what I really love about the breweries is, you know, you go into the breweries and you're going to get good alcohol. So you're drinking alcohol, but you're getting it the way you want. You're getting the conversations you want with it. You're getting the flavors you want with it. You're getting the food you want with it. You know, you have to invest in that experience, because simply saying, all right, we'll let you drink it at home. Yeah, there's a need for that. Sure, I want certain stuff at home, but you know, at the end of the day, the best beer I've had is probably going to take place in a brewery. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I love that
you touched on it for sure. Yeah, that's what it's all about. That's what our business model is all based around, is having people come into our space and do the things that you're talking about. It's about the experience that we can create for people that goes along with our beer and our food and the environment that we're providing for people to enjoy both in. And that's really important to us and really important, I think, to the customer as well. Having those conversations with people that are on our staff or team. And that's just, I think overall it makes beer much more experiential and much more, it creates a much better.
Making up words, experience. So in that vein though, let the people know where they can find you and let them know where they can find the new spot.
So you can find us at our original location, which is in Lawrenceville. It's at 3705 Butler Street. It's our brew pub. And then our new one is in the Strip District at 2601 Smallman Street. And that is a much, much larger brew pub and a much larger kitchen. So that one will be open in about 6 weeks. We're really, really excited to get that one open and share it with everybody, because it's going to be a hell of a spot. You've been there, Dave, you've seen the space. So we're really excited to get that out in front of people.
We're going to have all the tanks full at the end of this week. All the tanks are full at the end of this week.
It's a lot of money, man.
A lot of money. A lot of fucking money.
Yeah, I mean, you talking about getting into the Strip. Yeah, I mean, like, where the city is now.
Yeah, you know, all them fucking grains that you're putting in that bench. You get all them fruits and fucking hops and shit, man. Did y'all get your hands on any of that, what the fuck, the Galaxy that just dropped or whatever? I mean, the Galaxy hops.
I thought Andy bought it all.
Yeah, no, Galaxy. Yeah, Andy was.
He
all
was
like,
mad excited. Like, it take a lot for me to see like the excitement of a brewer line. Like, this motherfucker was tweeting like, "Man, I've been waiting for years to get these hops."
He had a whole Galaxy thread like that.
Like, God damn.
It
was like that.
We've got some in the cooler right now.
Well,
he got a little tuck. He got a little
hot market. He came in, played this big joker early. Yo, I'm gonna give you $1 million. Give me all of them.
We just kicked our Galaxy beer. We had a all Galaxy IPA on it. Just went. It was really.
That's the one that you didn't bring.
I know. I'm sorry.
What else they brought? That nebulous colada.
Listen, that shit.
Man, listen. They let the people know where to find us. I'm about to pour some more of that.
Yeah, we are the drinking partners. And if you're looking for us, you can find us on epicastnetwork.com/partnerspot. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Libsyn, Google Play, and Spotify under Drinking Partners. You can find us on IG, Twitter, and Facebook at Partnerspot. 420, Arcade Comedy Theater, arcadecomedytheater.com. And then April 27th, Comedy Theater. .ticketleap.com, and then August 10th, freshfestbeerfest.com.
See, what I've added to the subliminal was that at the end.
That's the freshing. That's the fresh opening of a can.
Fresher. See, it's all thought going into this. Thank you guys for bringing what you brought through. Thank you for the flavor. Thank you for what you do. We're excited about the opening in the Strip District. That'll be dope. Shit, I'm still we've been raving about. I mean, all of the beers were good, but it's very rare that we just rave consistently about one.
Fucking tart shake is.
Still don't know what a tart shake is, but I'm asking everybody that I go into. You got a tart shake? Everybody's gonna get that question. Don't slide in my DMs if you don't got a tart shake, because I'm shutting you down. But as always, Drinking Partners is the crew. Epicast is the family, and we out. That's fun.
Man, it's so fucking soft and warm.
It's so long.
I love it.
That's just how the machine. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
I'll put it on the drums real quick, and then we don't have to worry about.
God damn it.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
So was that like a style that you made up? Pretty much. Okay. Yeah. So Fire Hands, they were doing the milkshake IPAs, and everybody started doing milkshake IPAs. And then those beers are like fun, like they get people really excited, but I never liked that.
I love black